All right, y'all. So a whole bunch of y'all reach out to me, and normally it's the same kind of questions. It's, hey, I'm looking to relocate in this city or this suburb. What is it actually like to live there, though? What's the lifestyle like? What does it actually look like? Well, today we're in Blackhawk, a community, the largest community even, in Pflugerville, a place that my wife and I live. And anyhow, today this video is going to answer that question. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a driving tour and get to know this area, get to know one of the most popular suburbs and popular communities in that suburb in the Austin area, and for very good reason. So let's jump in the car. Let's do this. Alrighty, so first and foremost, if you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. My name is Mason Bleasdell. I'm a realtor born and raised here in the Austin area, and I'm a north suburb boy. Grew up in Cedar Park, lived in Round Rock for a couple of years, then moved to Georgetown before my wife and I settled here in Pflugerville. And given that, if this is if you're doing your research towards moving to any of these areas, I'm here to be a resource for you. It's so much more than just finding the right house, but it's finding the right lifestyle. It's finding the right spot for you and your family, and I want to be that resource for you when you come here. Now, let's talk about Blackhawk for just a second here before I flip the camera around and give you guys a little bit of a tour. So this is the oldest and largest master planned community here in the north suburb of Pflugerville, just outside of Austin. And there's a lot of cool things that come with that. It is massive. It's 6,200 homes. They started construction here in 1997, and they are still building new homes right now. So as you can tell, there's just a huge myriad of cool things here. And as you can see just out my window, I'm driving past right now one of the neatest. This community does have its own golf course. It's got its own school system, and some of the highest rated in the city and the highest in Pflugerville ISD. It really is a cool community. So let me flip the camera around. Let's go for a little drive. All right, so as we drive through, let me first start with a little bit of background on the community of Blackhawk. So this community is just over 6,200 homes in total, which is, of course, the largest master planned community in Pflugerville. It's one of the largest master planned communities in the entire Austin area. And with that comes a lot of really cool things. And I'll be honest, every single time I've moved a client out to here, they have never left unless they are literally being relocated outside of Austin. I even just last year helped a client whose family outgrew the home they were in, literally move from a 3-bedroom in Blackhawk to a 4-bedroom just because they didn't want to leave the community, but they just needed more space. And it's things like that that make this community in particular quite so unique. Like I mentioned, they started construction in 1997, and they're still building now. There's a huge myriad of homes in here of all sizes. But let's back up a little bit. Firstly, some demographics. So the community of Blackhawk is majority lived in by people between the ages of 30 and 60. A large majority of those are married, and about a little over 60% of the households in here have kids living at home, anyone under 18. Median household income is $102,000, if that gives a little bit of perspective also. And the average person who lives in here is either in a management role, a sales role, or other business related lines of work. Like I mentioned also, this is a huge community. Blackhawk really invested in some of their park space. There's over 200 acres of walking trails, of parks that are through here. I'm passing by some right now. One thing that's unique to Texas, if you're moving here, you just saw on the right was a cluster mailbox. Most of the communities in here will have centralized mailboxes, so everyone will go to one spot in a certain area to collect. So just something unique I wanted to point out about the Austin area if you haven't moved here before. And in terms of lifestyle, you know, this is a matured community. Like I said, they've been building in here for over 25 years. You can see you've got nice sized trees here. You know, of course, this is Texas. It's not going to compare to somewhere like California, Washington State, you know, Tennessee, for example. But for what we've got, this is some of the best. Now, this is that I'm turning onto now, one of the main roads in and out of the community. We're going to pass into some of the newer sections where they are still building homes. And so as you'll notice, the golf course, there is one within the neighborhood we just passed. There's fun things like a driving range if you're no good at golf like I am, but there's also a full 18-hole golf course. They do a great job maintaining it, rental golf carts, like everything you might need to come out and enjoy yourself on a weekend or on a Friday evening. You've got that here. We're passing by just to the right here, one of the several playgrounds and community centers. You've got walking trails all through here. This is not the golf course, so don't feel like you're going to get run over by golf carts. And we are coming up to one of the community schools. So this elementary school is specific for the community of Blackhawk. It is the highest rated elementary school as of the time of recording this in Pflugerville ISD, and one of the highest rated in all of Austin. You've got the amenity center here just on the right. I'm going to spin through here just for a second. Not only do you have sand volleyball courts here, but you've got a community pool with a splash pad. You've got a playground you can see just to the right here. You've also got a lap pool. So if you're one that likes to get out and swim some laps for exercise, this is a great spot for you. You've got it. It's built into your HOA dues. You don't have to pay extra for it. Just one of the other perks of living in here. So Row Lane Elementary School, you can see just across the street. This neighborhood, this community is also zoned for some of the best rated middle and high schools in Pflugerville ISD. So you're really well covered. And, you know, I talk to a whole lot of families that have young kids, and we've got one on the way. People here just really value being able to have, you know, their neighbors, kids, like the friends, just everybody lives in the same community. So it's one thing really unique and special about here. As you can see here, also specific to this community, it's a private Montessori school. Just to the right, if that's something that you'd be looking into for your family, you're also covered here. Some of the other things I want to mention is the Stonehill Shopping Center. You are just 5 minutes from Stonehill, which has all of your daily needs, like a Target, a Walmart. You've got a gym in there. You've got all sorts of just, you know, your random shopping stores, your hardware stores, banks, restaurants, everything, all within 5 minutes. There's also a Costco just at the exit of this community. There's a brand new HEB Plus, which is our local grocery store here, and this is a supersized one. There's just a lot, like in terms of a location, it's just a really great spot to be close to everything, but yet you're far away. We're passing here even more of those walking trails I mentioned. There's a nice reservoir fishing pond just to the side, and we're gonna swing in here. So every section has their own name for it here. To give you some reference, we're in the retreat at Blackhawk. Just a section, nothing's particularly different, although some of the builders do have their own sections when they were originally building out. Sold a house just down here on the left, just back a few months ago, and one of the biggest perks that they loved is, as you can see just off to the right, you've got a fishing pier overlooking a fishing pond, you've got a playground, you've got walking trails that go all the way through here. It's just such a great community. If you will spend time at home, if you're raising a family here, like there's so much green space, there's so much open park space. It's just an enjoyable place to be. If you're also new to the Austin area, I want to reference to, I'm filming this on March 24th here of 2023, and as of the date of recording this, it's currently 83 degrees. There is a light breeze outside, but sunny, hardly any clouds in the sky. This is pretty typical weather for March. March, we are going to see on and off rain, of course, as anyone would expect for spring. It does definitely get hot here in the summers, you know, peaking in August. Basically could be 100 degrees plus every single day, dropping into the 80s at night. That's just realistic for Texas here. Of course, our winters are extremely mild. You know, December's gonna have mixed weather. Usually we get some cooler weather, and cooler meaning, you know, still above freezing, but typically in the high 30s. And of course can be as warm as in the 70s. You know, a lot of people joke that just the first weekend of December is the best weather in Texas. Of course, January, February can be colder. If we do ever have a freeze, it usually happens in February. So just giving a little bit of reference for weather here. And of course, that's going to be generalized for the entire Austin area. So as you can see, as we're driving into here, this is some of the newer developments parts of Blackhawk. They are still building. Of course, you can see a house here just on the right, still under construction. And that leads me into chatting about what's available in here. So there is literally something for almost everybody. You've got golf course lots, you've got lots backing up to Greenbelt, you've got tons of cul-de-sac options, you know, and of course facing any direction you might want. In the last year, looking at statistics, the smallest home in here is going to run right around 1,500 square feet, going all the way up to over 4,600. So if you've got, you know, big needs or small needs for you and your family, there is a home in here to suit anything you might be looking for. Prices in here range from the 300,000s, you know, for some of the smaller homes, all the way up to about 1.2 million. 1.2 million, of course, being for desirable lots and a bigger home, of course. And one of the most interesting things, in my personal opinion, about Blackhawk, you know, I deal with buyers and sellers all of the time, and I'm also a super numbers nerd. I love to get to know what's going on in the communities. I want to know what's going on around. You know, typically speaking, the average and median days on market for the greater Austin area, so Austin and its suburbs, hovers right around that 70-ish days on market. For Blackhawk, it's 33. It's literally half of the average for the Austin and its suburbs, and there's a good reason. You know, also in the last year, only 256 homes have closed in Blackhawk out of 6,200 plus homes. That is an incredibly low average, and again, just goes to show, like I started in the video, people move here, they just don't leave, not until they absolutely have to, for whatever reason that might be. But it's not a community where people come in and they're moving within 4 years. And that's just really valuable to a lot of people and helps bring the community aspect of it, you know, where your friends hang out and such together. Now, in terms of downsides, there are, of course, downsides to everywhere. And one of the biggest ones of Blackhawk, and this is a complaint, the only real complaint I hear from clients of my own, and honestly something I agree with myself, is Blackhawk can be, depending on where you have to commute to, really far out. That, of course, it sits right at the intersection of Highway 45 and SH 130, two toll roads, which is the other downside. You really have no options except for toll roads to get anywhere quickly. You know, whether it's into Austin or into Round Rock, into Cedar Park, depending, of course, on where you have to commute. Toll roads can add up, they can be expensive, and if you're coming from Austin, it can just take a while to get here. Realistically, that is just the case. Even using the toll roads like 130 to get into town, it can just take a while. And if the only complaints that I do hear from clients are exactly that, is that it's just a little bit far out. Now, in the same way, it's very quiet, it's very peaceful here. It's very peaceful here. A lot of people appreciate that it's a little bit set out. You're still close to all your daily shopping, but if you are one that commutes into Austin, commutes into downtown, you know, if you're driving to Cedar Park, for example, if you're driving out towards Taylor, a lot of the new employment popping up there, just definitely map your commute. If it's something you're not sure about, reach out, let's chat about it, let's make sure it's the right fit for you. But it is something to think about if you're considering Blackhawk. That is by far the biggest negative of this area. Blackhawk also has slightly higher than average property taxes, something else to consider. Now, if you're not familiar with property taxes and the way they work in Texas, property taxes are completely ambiguous. They are completely based upon what infrastructure is being built, of course, on top of, you know, your standard school district, county, and city taxes. Now, parts of Blackhawk are actually within the city of Pflugerville, some parts of it are not. So your tax rate is going to vary depending on where you are in the community. But if you're outside of city limits, you are typically going to pay what's called a mud tax, a tax meant for private utilities to be brought out to you because you are outside of city limits. And because of that, that is added on to your tax rate. This taxes are a little bit higher here than normal. It's not crazy, you know, like some areas in Hutto, for example, some areas in Leander have incredibly high tax rates. This is just a little bit higher than average, but definitely something I want to mention as a potential downside for you. If you are looking to keep those as low as humanly possible, definitely consider that. Now, getting back to pricing and affordability a little bit, you know, the average home in here sells for right around $600,000, with the median falling just in there at $599,000. So that's a good ballpark for the average home in here. The average home also is 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Of course, larger and smaller are available, but that is what most of them are. There are lots of places in here with 3-car garages, which is also a huge plus to lots of people, whether it's for storing extra cars or if it's for storing bicycles or decorations, seasonal decorations, and somewhere to put the Christmas tree. Lots of those available here also. So we just passed another one of Blackhawk's community centers. Like I said, they've got tons of them. There's 2 pools at that one as well. And we're driving through one of the original sections here in Blackhawk. This is one of the very first built, right around that very, you know, turn of 2000 era. And as you can tell, just trees are a little bit more mature here. Of course, this is one of the more main roads. I'm also doing this right when school gets out, so a little bit more traffic than perhaps normal. But yeah, hopefully this video is helpful to you. You know, if you're considering a move here to Pflugerville, whether it is to Blackhawk or maybe Falcon Point or Carmel, Sorrento, any of the neighboring communities also, if I can be any help to you, any sort of resource to help guide you towards what might be the best route and lifestyle for you and your family, please do not hesitate to reach out. That is what I'm here for. I love helping families move here. I love this town, to be honest. There's a reason I've never left here, and I'd love to help find that right spot for you and your family. But thank you so much again for joining on this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.